Hello students. Today I am going to discuss about logical operations. It is a continuation of my first video topic, propositional logic. In this video I will be discussing what is WFF and what are the different type of logical operations. Let's first see what is WFF. The full form of WFF is well-formed formulae. Proposition is another name of sentence or statement that may result in true and false. We have already learned in our first video. A proposition, whether it is a simple or compound, it is also referred to be well-formed formula. That means there is another name for a proposition which is referred to as well-formed formula. What are the different types of logical operation? Let's see. First, here we'll discuss disjunction. Disjunction represent OR logical operation, and the term disjunction here is used to combine two or more simple propositions. It results in true if either or both of the statements or arguments or conditions are true, and result in false if both the statements are false. For example, let's take two simple propositions. P represent I will go to see a movie. Q represent I will complete my work. Now these two simple propositions can be written as a well-formed formula as P plus Q. P with the symbol V, Q which means P or Q. Now here I would like to draw your attention. This plus sign here does not mean arithmetical operator. It is a Boolean operator or binary operator or logical operator which performs logical operation. Now we'll form a compound proposition. I will go to see a movie or I will complete my work. Now these two simple propositions here combined by OR logical operators to form a compound proposition. Now disjunction, which represent logical operation, in OR logical operation, when two of the statements are true, the result will be true, or if any one of the statement is true, the result will be true. Same thing we can define in our programming construct as if P or Q, then statement 1, else statement 2. That means if P or Q, one of these conditions or statements are true, then statement 1 will be performed. If both the statements are false, then statement 2 will be performed. So OR logical operation represented by OR logical operator, which results in true if either or both of the statements are true, and results in false if both the statements are false. Now let's see conjunction. Conjunction represent AND logical operation. It is a term used to combine two or more simple propositions. It results in true if both the statements are true, and results in false if one of the statement is false. Now let's again take the example to understand this. P is a proposition which represents 10 is divisible by 2. Q is another proposition which says 10 is an even number. Now in WFF form, it will be written as P dot Q, which means P and Q. Now remember, this dot sign is not an arithmetical operator, it is a logical operator which represent AND logical operation. We form a compound statement. 10 is divisible by 2 and 10 is an even number. Now these simple proposition in programming construct is written as if P and Q, statement 1, else statement 2. That means if condition 1, condition P, which is 1, and condition 2, which is proposition Q, if both the statements are true, then statement 1 will be performed, else statement 2 will be performed. So we can see in conjunction is a term which results in true if both the statements are true, and results in false if one of the statements is false. Let's see what is negation. Negation represents not operation. Negation is a unary connective. It is just an operator that affects a single statement only. Now we can write P complement, which means not P. It means if it is P and not P will be false. Let's understand with examples. P is proposition represent here learning computer is a fun. Another proposition P complement means learning computer is not a fun. Double negation means complement of complement or double complement which results in the same proposition. That means double complement of an entity is always equal to the entity. Now let's see implication or conditional. Implication or conditional is applicable to the compound statement by using if-then connective. Conditional or if-then or implication means if one of the statement or argument is true, then the other statement and argument is also true, which can be written as P implies Q. If P, then Q. That means if P is true, then Q is true. Let us understand this implication with few examples. We have propositions here. P denotes it is a holiday. Q denotes I will go for a movie. So if we use implication, we will write if it is a holiday, then I will go for a movie. Now we need to note this, that implication always begins with if, then connective. We have another example. P, a simple proposition, I have no homework. Q, another simple proposition, I will go to play. Now if we apply here implication, then these two simple propositions will be combined as if I have no assignment, then I will go to play. Now we need to remember implication always begins with if, and the next sentence will be joined by or connected by then. So the first sentence, simple proposition always begins with if, and the second proposition joined by then. Biconditional. Biconditional is also called if and only if or equivalence. Means either both the arguments are true or both are false. If and only if. If P is true, then Q is true. That it means P and Q are either both true or both false. Let's take this example to understand biconditional. P is a simple proposition, I will pass in the examination. Q is another simple proposition, I will be promoted to the next class. Now when these two simple propositions combined by biconditional, we will form another compound proposition which begins like this. If and only if I pass in the examination, then I will be promoted to the next class. Now please take a note here that the first proposition always begins with if and only if I pass in the examination. The second proposition is again connected by then I will be promoted to the next class. So in this topic we have learned today well-formed formulae, which is a simple or compound statement. Then we have learned here different type of logical operations. Disjunction, that means or logical operation. It means when two simple propositions combined with or logical operator, it is disjunction. And the result here When two of these conditions or statements are true, they result in true, and if one of these statements are true, it also results in true. Otherwise, it results in false. Conjunction is another term used to combine two or more simple propositions by an logical operator. In this logical operation, the result is true if both the statements are true. If one of the statements is false, the result will be false. Now, negation is just an operator that affects a single statement only, and double negation of an entity is equal to the entity itself. Conditional or if then or implication means if one statement is true, then the other statement is also true. Biconditional, if and only if or equivalence means either both are true or both are false. So this topic ends over here. Stay home and stay safe.